Hi guys, welcome to Chessneeds, welcome from the city of joy. So today we are going to record a slow run. Okay, I'll try to break down some of the games that I will be playing, of course. Me, noob, and I will be playing with some other noobs too. So that's our target. We will play some games and I'll try to break down to you as much as possible. The game will be around 10 minutes plus 2 seconds or whatever increment takes. We will look into that, we will check it, and that's the target, guys. Okay, now we are going to play a 10 plus 0 game. That's the only default setting option we have on chess.com. They don't have a increment, feature time increment, as they say. So we'll just play a normal 10 plus 0. You can see the option, and that's what we will do. Press it, just waiting for the pairing to happen. Okay, we got Anil Malik 83 against Chestnut Stream. Yeah. We'll play. Okay, how about we go the Caro-Can, a very trendy opening. I see it everywhere, flooded in the internet. Me, I have been playing this opening myself for the past few years now. It's been like I have been playing this literally for the past 4 or 5 years. Before that, during my childhood, during my early days to chess, I used to play this. After that, in between, I shifted to Sicilian, firstly Naidov, and then to Taimanov, and also I explored some e4, e5 openings, but again shifted back to Caro-Can, back to Pavilion. Yeah, it's a home opening for me. I feel very comfortable. The structure suits me by all ways. Like this is a very integrated structure. The structure is very much packed. Is very tightly knitted, so nothing is going very much beyond. So it's very easy to play for me. We just captured on e4. Okay. By the way, to explain you the opening, sorry, Queen e2. This opening was not at all a good opening. Queen e2 is of course protecting the pawn over here, but if you see, it's breaking the opening principle off. It's blocking the bishop over here. Also the knight's movement, and the very basic opening fundamental is we should not by any means, like, okay, we should resist. If we don't have an option, we should, but we should resist as much as possible to develop our queen early in the opening. And here queen e2 develops the queen early in the opening. We'll now explain, we'll now try to see how we can punish this opening. I'll just play one move and you will see how we are punishing this. So we played knight to f3. You see his move, his queen has moved out of the opening already thrice. Queen to e2, back here, and back to e2. This is not a very good way. He should have put in his queen to h4 or to a4, but queen e2, it gets constantly kicked off. I'll again develop my bishop with a tempo again and again. So what tempo is? Basically threats or posing opponent some attack. So while we play each move, we'll try to attack. So with this attack, my opponent is forced to either move the piece or to defend it, while we stand in the commanding position. We are imposing threats to him. So at least we give some psychological pressure in terms of chess. Sorry about all this. My throat is a bit bad. I've gotten a bit cold. So all these things. Okay, we have developed, and if you see now, we have developed three pieces: the knight, and the knight on f6, and the bishop. Three pieces: and d7 knight, f6 knight, and the bishop on h5. Whereas for my opponent, although he has gotten the first move, he's white, right? He got the first move, but he only got queen here and knight. So only two pieces he got. We are one move ahead in development. Not only that, we have a major plus point. His bishop on f1 has no good places. Now he made a place for his bishop. Now look at it, everyone. This is not something what chess needs here. This is what you should avoid. Queen e2, one move. Queen e4, second. Queen to e3, third. Queen to e2, third, and queen to e3, fourth. By move number 8, they had already moved their queen 4 times, which is not at all a good signal. While for us, we developed 3 moves with our knights and pieces and bishop. while the rest of the moves have been spent to utilize our pawns. Our pawns are beautifully placed. We'll we'll go now bishop to c5, again attacking the queen again with a tempo. This is something that we need to constantly do. So this is how you should punish your Nova opponents. You should attack it repeatedly. Okay, now I do agree. We also got into a threat. Now we also have to put back. But you see, he also wasted his move. Two moves, pawn to d3, now pawn to d4. By 10 moves, he has already moving his queen 4 times and his d pawn twice. Not a good signal. We'll now go bishop to b6. Simple, nothing too much in the board. He went here. We have to castle. Castle safeguards your king. Remember, always castle first. Castle should be your first goal. If your if your enemy comes down right the center, you cannot help it, right? You have to castle, and castles just protects your king. It moves it to a safe square. We'll now go knight to d5. Again an attack to the queen. This is what we need to do constantly. Attack, attack, and attack. Attacks build not only positional pressure but also psychological pressure that, okay, my opponent is threatening me too much times. What should I do? How should I defend? And in this process of defending his queen repeatedly, he will at some point make some blunder. What I believe, of course, he is not a very top level player. He's of course not a 2200, 2300 on chess.com or even a 2000. So he's bound to make some mistakes, but not all that. That's all right. You are all by all means, you should make mistakes. Without mistakes, you don't learn. Even I don't. Even Carlsen doesn't, and Gukesh doesn't, and Nakamura doesn't. We all make mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes. But the goal is these principal mistakes, right? All these things can be eliminated by learning proper principles. This queen moving repeatedly out of the opening. Point number one. This pawn going to d2, d4. And furthermore, this queen blocking the minor pieces position. What are minor pieces? Minor pieces are all pieces that are below the 5 point things. So 2 bishops and 2 knights, they are called the minor pieces. We should not block their path. They are 4 pieces, queen is 1 piece. We should make them more flowy. We should give them more space. So 2 knights and 2 bishops consist of, by pen and paper, it consists of 6 plus 6, 12 points. But if you know the Russian school method, they say double bishop double bishop consists of 7 points. So we should not let those pieces suffer. We should let them breathe. We should let them play. This is what not our opponent is doing. Again, he's moving to a bad place. He's going to his own camp. Our target is we should move up. In and war, let's think कि ये गेम चेस का नहीं है, ये क्या है, ये युद्ध है, पकड़ लेते. Let's just consider this a war game. Then in a war, what you would ideally want is your pieces to be in the front, to be in the front. Everything, you not only your pieces. A king would ideally want their men to fight outright, to go inside of the opponent's kingdom or their territory. So here is not something that white is trying to do. He's getting very restricted in his own piece, own position. So queen h4 happened. We can now go knight to f4. We can now go knight to h3, knight to g2, bishop coming here. We have all sorts of possibilities. Okay, here I have two options. One is playing cd5. It would have been called a Kasbah structure. I would want to make e capture d5. Why? Because we are ahead in development. We have roughly completed developing all our pieces. So we are at a very good point to start controlling or fighting for open files. So this is us fighting for open files with moves like this. Coming down, we are controlling the open lines. This is what we are fighting for. I'm slightly low on time. I'm explaining the moves. It takes some time for me, of course, to break down a position. I'm trying to break down each and every situation as it is changing. But, we don't really need to have when playing. It's not something that you should keep all these things in mind. You just have to focus on one thing. Principles of opening or principles of middle game or end game, that should be very clear. You make tactical mistakes. Tactical mistakes is something that you can learn. You can sharpen day by day. You can play more games. You can learn from your mistakes. You can solve more puzzles, more studies, and you can solve it. But this positional mistakes or this fundamental rules. This is something that you can, stick in your head once and forget about rest of the life, and you can still play good moves repeatedly, good moves constantly, by just sticking to the fundamental principles, or as we say, the golden rules. It is golden rules of opening, golden rules of endgame, everything, but we should follow golden rules at all time. We'll now go bishop to e4, and we are attacking the knight on f3. This knight is bound to be doomed. Okay, he will of course, to defend it, have to move it back, or he has to defend it with the queen. Whatever he moves, see again, he's wasting a crucial time. His time in the sense is a move. So by move number 19, he has already made 5 queens move, as I can see. With this knight, he has already moved 1 on f3 in the opening. Again he went back here on h2 2, again he moved to f3 3, and again he went back to h2. So 4 moves he has made with the move, with the knight. So half of the move in 18 move, half of it he has only repeated the same piece. So this will cost him. This is not something that you would ideally want to do out of opening. So my opponent should likely pay a price for this, should likely pay a price for breaking the principles. He attacked us, we got a chance, we got this very long diagonal b8 to h2, a long line. What we are doing is, we are capturing those. What we are doing, we are making our queen spot in such a place where it cannot be attacked by any pawns. And remember, if any place cannot be defended by pawns, they are ideally slightly weak, be it in our camp, in our position, or in our opponent's position. Those squares remain weak, or they are called permanent permanent weak squares, which we can utilize. And queen g3 is something you can think like this. The framework, the move framework behind my move, if I try to explain that, okay, ideally I would have moved my bishop, or probably that looks the most natural. But what I did is, okay, I saw that every move has its own drawback. Particularly every pawn move has its own drawback because it cannot fall back. So I saw that the move pawn went to f3. Now what happened? The g3 square got vacated. The b8 h2 line is opened up. The diagonal is open. And can I do something in that diagonal? Can I counter attack? This question is something that you should always ask. If they are attacking, if your opponent is posing you a threat, you should always question, can I give a counter attack to that? Here you see, I can do a counter attack, and I played queen g3 followed by a move bishop to f5. Now I would want the bishop to capture on g4 followed by queen to h2. Let's see what happens. But he's not moving. We have already threatened bishop captures g4. If he captures, we go into the opponent's camp with queen h2 followed by bishop on g3. We are penetrating our opponent's position. He played queen to g5. Not a bad move. He's playing fairly well, I would say. Like, he hasn't done any tactical mistakes whatsoever. But I believe my opponent, although is strong on he's strong in way that he does not make too much blunders, but he is lacking serious opening principles, general opening principles. He has to improve. We went to our opponent's position, king came off. Now we are going knight to f6. Our target is knight to e4 check, threatening the king and the queen at the same time. And with move knight f6, what we are doing is, we are bringing in more pieces into the opponent's camp. You see, opponent's camp. So anything beyond this fourth line, so for us, fourth would be this, right? 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 and 4. So anything beyond, from the side we are looking at, anything beyond the fourth rank would be our opponent's camp. And if we move our knight to e4, we are moving a piece to the opponent's camp, and this is what we ideally want to do. We want to move our pieces to the opponent's camp. Now opponent is taking some time. Okay, it's good that he's taking some time. He of course needs to address this threat of knight to e4, but Yeah, I'm skeptical how easy it would be for him to serve this position. You see, again, something that you should ideally would not want to do. Something chess does not need, yeah. So king to went to g1 in order to be protected from all the storms that happened in the or would have happened in the center of the board. Now again, it is back to the center of the board. This is something that you would not have wanted, ideally. But okay, it is what it is. He has to manage that. He has to deal with the position. He does not have an option. So yeah, that's all right. But he could have dealt with the position better in the previous moves. Now the position is not at all very favorable for him. He now made a very big mistake. I have few options here. I can go knight to e4, attack the queen and the king, and we can easily capture the queen. But can you take your time, pause the video if you wish to, and think of a move that finish the game even further? As far as I can see, we have a checkmate in 3 moves. So I'm going to execute that. So see, again, my mentality, I'm not going behind queens. Giving a check is of course important. Getting the queen is of course important. But what I am trying to do is I am looking for anything further. So this is a famous quote by, I believe, Kasparov. I don't remember who exactly said it, but I don't recall the name. But a famous ex-world champion said that if you see a good move, look for a better one. And this is what we are doing. We already have a check. Check is already a forcing move, but we are looking for a better one. What we are doing here is queen captures g2. We are looking for the checkmate. So if the rook now comes to f2, we'll capture the rook on f2. If the king moves to d3, we have queen to e2 check. Even if the king moves to d1, we have queen to e2 check. This position by all means cannot be saved. We can pre-move simply queen e2. If he plays rook to f2, we have to, of course, defer the pre-move. The queen cannot jump over the rook, can't. So we'll have to capture on f2 and then follow it up with queen to e2, and we would win. But yeah, I can easily go off the screen also now. I don't think it would be easy for him to defend. Although he is taking time, now there's no point of thinking, but he's probably lost. Okay. We can do a slight review of the game. I would want to not take our engine's help in this way, because engines does make our perspective very, objective in sense. And of course, I made some mistakes, my opponent made some mistakes, and we all are humans, right? We are bound to make mistakes. So I want to give a normal human perspective to this game, and this is how I'll try to break it down to you. E4 c6 happened, and pawn to d3. I know the game is not over, but yeah, literally not over. But as far as I can see, blooper, the game is gone. Okay, pawn to d3. What it did it. This is a playable move. This is something that happens in King's Indian attack setup. This is something that can also happen in a very trendy after d5 knight f3 setup. You can look up the books. It's one of the most trending line. I myself have lost one game in this variation. Okay, he abandoned the game. We won. Okay, now we'll just do a game review. Okay, let's not do a game review with the engine help. We'll try to do it without that. He says, I have made 1 great move, 12 best move, and 7 excellent moves. But that, of course, came very naturally. I didn't know that while making it. So, queen e2. First d3. d3 blocked the bishop, right? It blocked the bishop's way. The bishop now cannot go beyond the second rank, which is not at all a healthy square. It need to go further beyond, right? So we should at all times try to, so my opponent had to try to capture a square beyond his limit, so beyond his 4th rank. This is what he had needed to do. But okay, d5 happened, queen to e2. I already explained you the queen should not have went to d2, e2, sorry. Pawn captures d4, e4, queen captures e4. The queen came out, and we are now going to threat it. Pawn capture e4 would have been slightly better, as far as my understanding goes. At least he does not make the move queen move twice. Sorry, and he also makes the bishop move out. So queen e4, knight to f6, queen to e2. Again, we just gave constant threats. Bishop g4, knight to f3, knight to d7. We are now looking for development. What I did was that simply h3 is a good move from his side. And here, to me, a move like g4 looked very natural because bishop g6, and you would have gotten the chance to go bishop to g2 followed by short castle. This looked very natural to me. Why? Because he again here got tempo for himself. You already know what a tempo is: gaining time or gaining threat on my pieces or on your opponent's pieces. He would have gained a threat, he would have had the bishop out and now ready to castle. To me, this seemed very natural. It might not be the best, but it was natural for me, so I just let you know. Queen came to e3, pawn to e6, bishop to e2, all good till here. Bishop c5, d4 is again only possible way. Queen to b6, but here I missed one thing. Instead of queen e3, I would have ideally wanted queen to d1. Why again? Queen e3 blocked the bishop's line over here. Now this bishop cannot go, and this is what he constantly did. He restricted his minor pieces. From the game explanation, you already got to know, hopefully, what are minor pieces. So d4, bishop came to b6, pawn to c3. Okay, needed, but castling was slightly more needed. But okay, he castled, he made a good decision over here. Knight went to d5, queen to d2, blocking the bishop again and again and again. This is not something that he should have done. He should have played queen to d3, getting out with the bishop, at least making space for the bishop. Again, the breathing space, we all need this. If let's say you get into a stuck room where there is very less oxygen, very less space to breathe, it's full of dust, you would not feel very comfortable, right? This is something that happened. My opponent constantly blocked his own pieces, constantly put a step in front of his own piece path. He became a blockade to his own pieces, which he should not at all do. Should at all costs try to avoid this kind of situation. Knight to h2, again going back with the pieces. I already explained the pieces should have moved in front. Bishop g6, bishop to f3, queen to h4, bishop captures d5, pawn captures d5. Now if the rook goes to e8, we can attack over here on the line. Knight to f3, queen to f6, knight a3, bishop came to e4, attacking the knight over here. Knight h2, queen g6. There's a checkmate threat now. Okay, something does not need very much of explanation, because this position is something that he already more or less was about to go into or forced to go into. And here also all these moves are pretty much forced. Here rather, instead of queen g5, what he played in the game, I would have said ideally queen to f2, because queen exchange is much needed here. We, as in black, sorry, was in a front foot. We were like threatening all sort of checkmate threats on h2, all sort of pieces moving in. So he needed to neutralize this. He needed to dilute the position or simplify the position. To simplify the best piece, you would like to exchange the queen, because queen is the most important piece on the board. If the queens are off, the chances for attack of course goes down significantly, because the best piece on the board or the mightiest piece on the board is now not there to deliver or to pose more problems. So queen f2 would have been a better move for him. He moved queen to g5, bishop captures on g4, f captures g4, queen to h2, king went to f2, knight to f6. Now knight is coming to e4, king to e1, rook to a8, king d2. This is all gone now. Does not need any further explanation. So yeah, he of course abandoned over here, but okay, if you would have played this, I already explained queen to e2 would have been a checkmate. If you would have gone here, queen to e2 again would have been a checkmate, and rook f2, queen f2, king goes here or here, does not really matter. Either of the two, we would go queen to e2, checkmate again. So guys, with this, we come to a conclusion to the first game that we played, and to the conclusion of this video, we tried to take one game and we tried to break it down in very tiny pieces as far as possible, as far as keeping all the minds that chess explanation needs here. Again, shamelessly promoting my brand Chessneeds. Chessneeds is something that is there to help you out, is always there to help the community, chess community out. We have all sorts of products. We have the chessboard, the best of class chess clocks, DGTs, all sort of things. We have some very good curated chess courses, we along with a very lovely community that you all have, you all are here in YouTube and in other places. And not only that, we also have a few academies already associated with us who are also recording in our studio some videos. So yeah, we'll all publish it one by one. Some courses will be up on chessneeds.com for you to purchase. So keep a track, guys. Give us a follow if you like our content, and we'll try to come out with more such content in future. And we are also doing live every Friday. We are trying to be ritual with it. Sometimes it happens, it's a hit or miss sometimes, but yeah, we are trying to be ritual. And not only that, we are also trying hard to make another live on Tuesday. Let's see if what if happens. Today is Tuesday, by the way, and we just completed recording this video. I will probably go live in some time. I'll just need some time to freshen off. But yeah, before that, before freshening up, I need to sign off. So bye, guys. Signing off today. Have a good morning, night, or evening, afternoon. I don't know what timeline it's when you are watching it. Mostly people watch it at night. So, and we have thought to publish the video, schedule the video at night. So mostly if you are watching at night, have a very good night, and if at morning, have a lovely, lovely morning and a lovely day. Bye bye, guys. Take care.